as young black guys, whether in the West or here or anywhere. And that's what created a global culture. And at the end of the day, Afro beats is the first cousin of hip hop. It's an evolution, right?
Yeah, I remembered him when you mentioned. I work with him too. When you mentioned,
shout out to Alex O, man.
Yeah, when you mentioned the Junior and Pretty,
of course.
He produced their works and all that. So when you say that, I must push my guy into now.
100%.
That kind of thing.
But we celebrated him. I did a docu-series with Showmax 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did.
Journey of the Beats, and people like Alex O. What's this man called? Mike Okri. The Mandators,
Edmond Spice,
my brother Blackie. All these guys, Daniel Wilson. There was a period when those guys really were doing their thing. And then I think Daddy Shoki just took it to another level. And he was like the first almost street superstar, the ghetto soldier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Daddy Shoki has a movie in his life, man. A serious movie.
He was with Daddy Fresh too.
Of course. I met them when I met Daddy Shoki, he was a rapper. He came to audition for our TV show, Clapperboard Weekend Raps. Right, and he didn't make it, and I was like, "Bro, nah, go and do something else." But he went and found himself, and when he came back, whew.
And those guys did a lot for the scene here in Nigeria
100%.
because it turned a lot of things around. When after Chris Okotie, Jide Obi, Felix Liberty, you now had Michael
Chris Okotie,
Chris was like their father.
Yes, no.
Yeah, because
I don't know if Felix Liberty might have a position to say about that.
No. Chris Okotie gave birth to Felix Liberty.
And Jide Obi as well.
Yes,
Jide Obi and Chris Okotie used to come to my house in Enugu.
Of course,
the red Honda Accord. We thought the guy was like a Ferrari, man. I used to come back from holiday. I'm like, who's this guy? Jide Obi was huge, man. They had a big record. Yeah.
That is Kill Me With Love. Chris
but I was
Okotie.
young. I'm not dating myself. I was young.
Chris Okotie brought Felix and Jide.
Yes.
Right? So that group. After them, you now have...
And around that same period is Onyeka.
Yes, Onyeka. They were the female beats of it. And I Wanna Feel Your Love.
Oh, my God.
Ifudu. We had Ifudu. Yeah, we had Obi Onyoha.
Yes. They're all in the document.
Yeah, all those ladies.
Yes.
Then from them, we now had when Alex and Mike now came.
Start coming.
Then
Mandators are coming around the same time.
Yeah, Mandators came before.
Raskimono's coming. Majek's coming.
Hey, look at that.
I
tell people a lot of things happened. I was watching a docu once when the young lady did the history of Nigerian music, and she started from Two-Face.
Well, that's what she knows.
That's what she knows. Which is fine.
But somebody has to tell the story of the whole thing, which is what I did.
Which you did. That was my quarrel. My quarrel was the fact that if you're a broadcaster, you should be able to dig deeper, connections. Because I started quite early too. I started in my teens, right? But when I would do something, I would ask questions because we believed that we were part of history. But if you don't tell history, it will be killed.
Thank you so much. This is what I talk about all the time: intentional storytelling. All those people you mentioned, there's no biopic on one of them.
None.
I have this conversation with my friends in Nollywood every day. So you're looking for subject matters. What's wrong with Nigerians? Is our story not big enough?
Yeah.
That you take all the musicians, all the actors, all the sports athletes, forget politicians. Just take those people. There's at least 1,000 people. And no biopic, no docus, nothing. It's like as if we didn't exist.
As if we
It's a form of
didn't
madness
exist.
in my mind. So you have to see value in yourself and extol that value and tell the story so that other people can be inspired. Sama Kwaraji, where's the story? Right? Where's the story? Kanu, are you kidding me? That story worldwide. Where's the story? Right? Rashidi Yakini. When he's screaming that goal, that first goal, there's at least 100 million people screaming with him when he scored that goal in the World Cup in '94.
And the funny thing,
if
you create a story like that, there is a way you can weave everybody in because they were all,
5 African nations declared public holidays when Nigeria won at Atlanta 96 Olympic gold for football. 5, not 1, 5. Shut down the continent. Do you know how many black people were screaming worldwide? I remember I was in London that night. Took over London. 100 cars with Nigerians with flags just shutting it down. Who's telling the stories? There's a great documentary called Super Eagles 96, which is on Amazon Prime, directed by Yemi Banmiro, who's a really talented director, Nigerian guy out of London. Incredible, but unfortunately it hasn't been, most Nigerians haven't seen it, right? Because of the way content works. The streamers got it, but it's not on free-to-air television in Nigeria. It's not available. So the Nigerians haven't had the opportunity to embrace their own story, their own greatness. And this is a big problem for us because you can't just live on memory. You have to, if you watch anything you watch, whether sports, anything, but if you check sports, it's all about storytelling.
True.
So even if you're watching football, there's no way, no year that you will not see the Manchester United people tell you the story of the famous five 100 times a year. Beckham, Scholes, Neville, the Neville brothers. Even if you hate Manchester United, after a while you'll be going, man, these guys were incredible.
They do it very well in sports. You can't tune a sports channel and you not see them doing something about one person or the other.
No.
They keep them alive. But other fields, I don't know, especially here in Nigeria, it's like we have a way of immediately we pass this era, forget about them. Move on, forget about them.
That's why you don't get to the level where you're supposed to get to. In America, nobody honors people like the Americans. The Americans will pull the guy out and tell you, this is the guy. He started this thing. He's the one that made us play like this. He's the one that made this club. This club is the heart of the community. Without this, I mean, do you understand? So it's layered. So like I look at a club like Enugu Rangers, right? And I'm like, Enugu Rangers should have 10 million shares sold. They have that fan base. But who told the story?
Ooh.
Who's made the connection? Where's the merchandise? Where's the merchandise in Nigeria? You have, 275 universities. None of them have any merchandise. The Alumni Association of Unilag must be 5 million. Of Nsukka, of Ibadan, of Ife. That's 5 million people that can buy I went to Ife t-shirts.
Yeah.
They don't even have that. So there's something missing with us that we're not quite understanding. It's the same reason why I talk about Shango all the time. I was in Oyo 3 weeks ago. I said, Shango, my Yoruba brothers have abandoned Shango. He's broke somewhere outside Oyo. I don't know where he is, but that's the truth. Thor, his cousin from a much smaller place, which is a population of 7 million, is approaching $30 billion in revenue. Who's the fool? Why can't we not engage ourselves? Why can't we not understand what we are sitting on? It's like sitting on crude oil and you never looked under your foot. Then you complain when I come and I go, phew, I'm taking 1 billion barrels a day out a year out of under the place you've been sitting for 1,000 years. Then you say I'm stealing from you.
And you see,
whose fault is that?
And you see the fact that history at a point was removed from schools. Young people grew up not understanding what it means to tell the story of a people, and they just believe that I start from wherever I am right now. That is where everything starts.
That's why we have work to do. I think to make it hot. To understand that if you tell the story of Zeke, it's not the story of an old man. Zeke was a very young guy when he was doing.
Once upon a time, yeah.
When he was doing, they were young. They were young. They were very young. Somebody
put up his wedding picture the other time.
I think I did.
I was like, oh, it was you. I was like, look at that. Fly young man.
Listen, I'll tell you a story. My late godfather, MD Yusuf, who was from Katsina, told me a story once of when Zeke arrived in Katsina. He was 13. And MD was 13, and MD was like a Zeke fanatic. So he went to wait. He said he went to wait in the airport, in the crowd. He said there were 500,000 people waiting for Zeke. And he was 13, which means it must have been like 1940 or something. He said Zeke arrived at the airport.
Young man.
And once he arrived, he said it was like God arrived from heaven. He said the guy is 6'4", ridiculously good looking, speaks fluent Hausa. So once he started talking, they were like, our man is here. And what is it that Zeke is connecting with? We must be free. So Zeke enabled and embraced Senghor of Senegal, the first president. Nkrumah sent him to Lincoln University, right? Okay, we don't tell. Why is he called Zeke of Africa? Because all the African leaders were following him. Do you understand? And we have not told his story. We're crazy. Sadona, we have not told the story. We haven't told the story. And I'm telling to myself, there's 230 million Nigerians. When will we tell our own stories? When is the time? The time is now. And
you see, even the Civil War that we seem to shy away from, that story has to be told.
It has to be told. It's part of my life. It's my DNA.
Yeah. Children should be taught. In America, they still teach the Civil War. So why don't they teach this?
Until tomorrow, they'll teach it. Because the truth of the matter is, my late father used to say to me many times, Nigerians are not ready for the truth, right? But, everybody's got to grow up. It's time for everybody to grow up. You can't be dealing with shadows. You're chasing shadows. You're chasing conspiracy theory. You're chasing things that don't make sense. But because nobody has corrected you or nobody has given you the information, then you can continue in that line. So sometimes there is a responsibility. Even I'm guilty. I've sat on my father's story for 20 years, and I'm like, not sat on it, but I mean, we've done a lot. I've done over 100 interviews, and the man's 20th anniversary is this weekend. He passed 20 years ago, September 14th. But there's a lot to come. There's so much content. And I'm like, You know, I'm a custodian of that stuff. I have 100,000 images. I have over 10,000 documents. I've conducted over 200 interviews on camera. Ed Kizzo I didn't do that. That's Ed Kizzo. But, you know, so I'm passionate about this stuff for many different reasons. But the fundamental reasons, I'm Nigerian, I'm Black, I'm Igbo, and we know that stories heal, stories can unlock the future, and stories are the thing that you need to embrace yourself. It's like why we have this association between ourselves, right? When at the end of the day, all Nigerians, right, are from one tribe.
Tell me a bit about your dad.
My dad?
Yeah.
Man, how much time do you have?
We could have a part 2.
Well, maybe
I don't have a problem
maybe
with
we'll have
that.
a different conversation about him. But I'll tell you, well, the first thing is that in my DNA, I am him. His name is my name. Ubabi Asika is my name. Ubabi is my second name, right? So that tells you something. The second thing about him is my first name is Obodoechina. You know what that means, right? Obodoechina. My country will not die.
Oh.
I'm born in the middle of the Civil War. He named you for the Igbo nation and for Nigeria. We will not die. We will multiply. And I keep telling people, there are many tribes in Nigeria, but the biggest tribe in Nigeria is the Nigerian tribe. It's just a fact of life. You know, yes, the Igbos are 30, 40, 50, 60 million. Yorubas are 60, 70 million. Hausa 70, 80 million. But the Fulani who have been running a lot of people are only 4% of the population.
I tell you.
Yeah, so somebody learns how to statecraft. So you have to ask yourself, how did they learn the statecraft? How do they know how to really make these things happen and control statecraft? And it's not as simple as conspiracy theory. You don't rule for 250 years because somebody said you will rule. I mean, you have to be doing something that's beneficial to the people for them to collectively give you leadership. It's as simple as that. So you can manage a diverse group of people. You understand?
I know the story is going, you know, a bit this way, different from where we would eventually end. No problem. We're still going to talk about that. But you're on the station right now, whether we like it or not. A lot of the people who listen to the station too are from your end of the wood. I'm Isoko. I'm always saying I'm Isoko. I'm not Igbo. I'm Isoko. And they fought me.
You're our cousin. You're our cousin.
They fought me because I said that. You know. If your father were to be alive, right, what would he say about the things going on now in the neck of the wood? No.
In the East?
Yeah, in the East.
I think he'd be greatly disappointed. I think that'd be the best word. I think that when you allow conspiracy theory to overtake functional action, you know, the leadership in the East, I think, has failed the East, to be honest. I think that, you know, when I go to the East, I'm from Onitsha. My mother was from Awere, right? I grew up in Enugu. There's not much you can tell me about the East. We know it inside out, right? But I think the center of innovation in Nigeria has always been in Nnewi, okay? But nobody's telling the story. It comes back to what I was saying before. If you look at the amount of industries in Nnewi, over 1,500, built by men with no support, with no capital. And that's where the Igbo apprenticeship scheme comes to play. But these factories, some of them are employing 10,000, 15,000 people. It's unbelievable. And we talk about innovation. There's nowhere that is on the continent that is even smelling Nnewi. But where's the support for Nnewi? I've spoken to NITDA about how we can bring them. That zone needs to be a technological development zone, and Nigeria needs to focus on it, right? And not just talk about Nigeria, but the governors in the East. What have you done for Onitsha market, for Nnewi market, for Ariara? These places are economic centers of activity that actually should be running West Africa. They do $3-5 billion a year already with zero infrastructure. So what happens if you build infrastructure and you enable them instead of just chasing IGR? So I think there's a microcosm and there's a sort of Stockholm syndrome that has happened in the East where, yes, there's a lot of things in the East that are not attractive in terms of some of the feelings when you're there, too many checkpoints. That thing is not good at all. And anytime I go East, I always think about this. I said, if you do it like this, people feel caged, right? And that has to be dealt with. And people need to understand that, first of all, the real problem about the Civil War is that the rest of the country, I said, it's like now. Let me give you a metaphor for it. Since 2010, 2011, we've had the problem in the Northeast with Boko Haram. But guess what? The rest of Nigeria kept operating. And we're in social media age. 1967, 1970, nobody in Nigeria knew what was happening in the East. There was no way you could know. There was no social media. There's no radio coming from the East, really. There's no real information. Just what government lets you see. So it's not propaganda driven. Do you understand? So that allows both sides to sort of invent what they, or to, you know, frame what they want to share. And then, of course, it means that you just carry on your life. You don't know that the people have PTSD, that they have trauma. So if you understand PTSD and trauma, you know there's generational PTSD coming out of the East, because at the end of the day, what really actually happened to the man on the street is they have no idea where there was war. That's a problem between leadership, right? But somehow it affects the people, and now the people find themselves as targets, and they have to leave because of being physical targets, and that's a very, very difficult thing to deal with. And let me tell you, it happened to everybody. It's not an if, but, maybe situation. The only thing about my father was clear that leaving Nigeria was not the solution. That was his own belief, right? And he was brave enough to stand up for it. He was already outside Nigeria when the problem started. My father was in Lusaka with the ANC. My mother was in Dar es Salaam. But he told my mother, listen, I've got to go back to Nigeria. I don't know anybody, but I'm going to go back to Ibadan. There must be something I can do to help stop this madness. And that's his motivation. And by the time he gets involved, it is that Obasanjo was looking for, Gowon was looking for an Igbo person that could take a position. And they had spoken to many ambassadors, senior people, diplomats. My father was 31. My father was very, 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 very advanced intellectually, and a political science specialist, right? An economist in political science. And he's Rockefeller Foundation scholar. He had a very clear position that you don't go to war unless you're ready for war, right? You don't go there. It's not something that, so for him, it was madness to go to war. Yes, there have been problems. Yes, there have been clashes. Yes, people have died. But we can still negotiate. We can still make this thing work. And going to war is not going to help us. It's not going to get you anything you don't have already. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's his position. And I respect it, because the hardest thing to do is stand alone in the crowd. It's easy to follow the crowd. You need to wake up in the morning and I said, there's no benefit to him actually to have gone with the way he went. It was just always going to be a problem. And go on, even when he offered him the job, told him not to take it. On the day he offered it to him.
Gowon told him not to take it.
Don't take it. Your wife is a full Biafran. Just go home and chill with your people. But I said, listen, my entire family was in the East. His family, his wife's family, the entire family, a bunch of them were in the Biafran army. It's facts of life. That's what happens. It's real. It's not theoretical. So yeah, if you want to hear stories and film, one day we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, these are some of the things we could make a full picture of.
Oh, trust me.
A very true one, so people will see and understand, because sometimes you just find transferred anger.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of transferred aggression. There's a lot of trauma, because there's a lot of pain. A lot of people lost a lot of people. 2 million plus dead. It's not a joke. And a lot of that goes down to irresponsible leadership, right? Because really there's no need for it. There's other ways to resolve the situation. My father's position clearly was that no matter what happens, we're still going to be in Nigeria. So he spent most of the war years going around Nigeria securing Igbo property. In Kano, in Bauchi, in Ilorin, in Lagos. Yes, with the emirs and the local governors. So that he said, whenever this war finishes, we're coming back.
And he succeeded?
Of 100%. Except River State. Which is why you have abandoned properties. Because River State, Port Harcourt, really, I know some people may not want to hear it, but Port Harcourt is an Igbo town for at least 200 years. Yeah? Yes. And even in the South, all these little splits you talk about, the East is basically Igbo.
Yeah.
The Ibibios, the Effiks. Why do you think Igbos could speak and understand and translate in CBD from the Jekan people? Because the whole area, they're all basically connected. These things are almost like dialects. So even in the East, 60, 50 Igbo towns, the names of the town is actually the name of a dialect of Igbo. Ababa people, when they speak Igbo, man, that thing is like Chinese. If you speak to a man from Anambra, Central Igbo, or a man from Owerri, Igbo, it's different. The dialects are very different, but it's one language. It's one people, but there's never an empire of Igbo. You might have the Arochukwu, the Arochukwu Confederation, which is 1,000 years old. You have the Umuleri, where the Inri, which some people claim is the source of the Igbos. You have us, I'm from Onitsha, right? Onitsha, maybe 600 years. And we have nine ancestral tribes in Onitsha. 4 are Igbos that returned from Edo. So that's the Benin connection, that was settled in Benin and racked with one of the sons of the Ubaba Benin. And if you're driving from Benin to Onitsha, at least on that road, you run into several Onitshas. Because over the years, they settled. And don't forget, there were no roads. The rivers were the roads. So guys are just moving. They move 20 kilometers. Okay, maybe we'll stay here. They stay here for 10 years. That place becomes Onitsha Ubo. They go another place. They stay there 20 until they got to Asaba. And the Eze Chima, who's the progenitor, So let's cross the road. That's the place. That's Onitsha Mili, Onitsha by the water. That's the other side of the river because we feel we'll be safe here. But the people in Asaba are also Ezechima. The people in Obosi are also Ezechima. People in Uguta are Ezechima. Do you understand?
You be professor.
Well, we know our stuff. It's my place. So if you come to Onitsha, you look at it, and those 9 villages, 4 I told you came from Edo, 3 came from Omambala, which is Anambra. And what are they doing? They're coming to the water to trade. It's like Lagos. Anywhere where there's water, there's a confluence of people. 2 of those ancestral villages are Igala. For 400 years or so, they came down the River Niger. Do you understand? And they're the kingmakers in Onitsha. So sometimes Igbo people say that in Onitsha, that they're arrogant. They say, we're not Igbo, we're in Onitsha. It's not quite true. We're Igbo, but we're a mixed heritage, okay? Because of the nature of our place. And just like in Lagos, the Onitsha, the Onitsha, we're less than 10% of the population of Onitsha today.
So you're like the Lagos Island people of Igbo land.
Exactly.
So,
and we don't have money.
but you cannot understand why he is the DG of a council that talks about culture, talks about art, and all that. Well, I've been speaking with Obi Asika all this while.
You just took me off base, but I don't even touch the word.
Yeah, we've not even started. We just needed to have that feel.
Unpack that flow.
Yeah, you see how we moved from music to this. Long and short of it is telling stories. We are not telling our stories enough. Yeah. And I think maybe that's part of what your council is all about, because
100%.
You're dealing with culture, you're dealing with arts, right? And bringing of them.
Let me even tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's an old view of how the council was.
Okay.
What the council is, we sit on Nigerian soft power. So we're looking at 49 sectors. We're looking at the whole thing.
Soft power, you call it
soft
now.
Power. Yeah, that's what I've always called it that. The soft power. Some people look at it as from the Harvard professor Joseph Hugh, who talked about this as it's something America didn't win the Cold War with the bombs. They wanted McDonald's and Levi jeans. The desire of the Russians to live that life was more powerful than any amount of nuclear bombs they could push. Do you understand? So Hollywood is much more important than the Pentagon in that respect. And by the way, Hollywood and the Pentagon have always been allies since the Second World War.
Yeah.
So it is just for people to understand that soft power is not propaganda. Soft power is the expression of the people, right? And it can also be used in diplomacy instead of hard power, which is a military-industrial complex. That maybe I could send you, like right now, I think you'll find that Afro beats and our fashion and our food have killed the notion of Nigerians as 419 people. Worldwide, it's killed it. There's still some people who do crime, but that's not the primary thing they think about when they think about the Nigerians. Now they think about our music, they think about our movies, they think about our comedy, our culture, our personality, our attitude. That is incredible power, influence. I think Nigerian influencers probably have 2 billion followers. Right? So for me now, it's to connect the gap. You got 2 billion followers, that's enormous influence. Where's the product? Where's the merchandise? Why are we not selling? How come we didn't have Homosexy sell 10 million t-shirts in her first part of her career? Well, I used to drive around Lagos. Every single taxi driver used to have those dice by the, when they're driving between the mirror, and they're all Homosexy. And I used to ask her, are you getting paid on this? I said, because in any other country, you should be like a billionaire because your name moves brands, okay?
Yeah.
But of course, our brands used to be disconnected from this fact. And it became like, man, you're begging, so they have to go and beg the brand. But now the brands have arrived at a place where they can't push the product without the soft power. You cannot. How are you going to push it to young Nigerians if you don't engage a Rema or an Arya Star? You have to engage them because that's what the young people are following. And 70% of this population is under 35. Do you understand? So that's really, really something that I think, for me, is a big priority. The productivization and merchandising, our culture, our pop culture, and our traditional culture, right? The Ayo, there's a beautiful Ayo piece I have in my office. This thing is made from carbon fiber, 3D imaging. And I love it.
And the Kenyans do that a lot.
The Kenyans are ahead of us in this.
Yeah, they do it very well.
Unfortunately, everybody's ahead of us in this. We haven't done anything. The Americans have defined it. The Chinese make all the product. The Indians make all the product. And I've reached out to all three. I said, Nigeria, we want your support. We want your participation. We want to build. And I'm calling for private sector players who are interested in these spaces to come and partner with us. Because we're not going to do it and run it as government. We're here to open the space and enable. That's my job. That's my role. My role is to make sure that, because I see certain things, I'm like, okay, so the Kano leather people.
Yeah.
I met a boy, Winston Leather, incredible products he's making. And the Kano leather people are making product that is going to Gucci, Chanel, Prada, Louis Vuitton.
Without saying this was from.
Well, beyond that, in Aba, they're importing leather. Does that make sense to you?
No.
So there's disconnected markets. We must connect our domestic markets. If the leather from Kano can touch Aba first, and Aba can also, Aba supplying the whole of West and Central Africa with shoes, right?
Have they started putting made in Aba?
The Aba people.
Yes, because they used to put names of other people.
I think it's like this. You know, it's just like the Japanese. I remember when Japan started making cars. I'm old enough to remember. People go, why the hell would you buy a Japanese car? Now everybody drives only Toyota, right? The Chinese were doing it, right? Even now people still getting the Chinese. But I'm looking at the GAC motors. I'm thinking, whoo, looks kind of good. So Innocent, I've been in the Innocent Jeep. It's dope. If he gives me one, I'm taking it immediately. I'm just putting out a plug. Right now, we're available for ambassadorial duties.
Me too.
I don't have a ride. I don't have a car. So, I mean, this is what we need. Because the truth of the matter is, I prefer go local first, right? If you go local first and dominate your local market, then you're global. Because everybody will know that you're dominating your local market. So, for me, Afrobeats now, our global expansion, it's time to domesticate it and turn it into business, not just into entertainment. And that business means that our area market, Computer Village, all these markets in Nigeria need to come up and deliver products for us. And we need to be able to get money from the product.
When you say deliver products and all that, let's still
T-shirts, caps, whistles, shoes, sneakers, hoodies, everything, traditional cloth. There's someone like Tiwa Savage, Arya Star. Arya Star could sell fashion goods to, do you know how many females there are in Nigeria? Over 100 million. And 70% of them are, in fact, 40% of them are under 16. So, there's nothing. It's crazy. You're going to walk left, and you're going to see Ben 10, you're going to see Spider-Man, you're going to see all that stuff, and they're going to buy it as well. But yours isn't available. And this is a problem. Yeah.
Have you reached out to them at all? Have you had a session
with who? The artist or the talent?
No. With the collaborators.
I'm talking with the biggest group in India. We're talking the biggest groups in China.
No. I mean here in Nigeria, for instance.
Oh, definitely. I talk to area market every day because what it is trust. It's all about trust.
What is the response like?
I think they're excited. I think that trying to explain to the guys in the market that doing this thing as a ripoff doesn't pay you. Because what needs to happen is Wizkid or Davido or Burna Boy needs to feel comfortable that if I give you my rights, not only will you protect it and create quality product, I would also get a piece of the money I'm supposed to get. There's nothing worse than I give you my rights, I see the thing everywhere, then you tell me you're not selling. You know that's the story in Nigeria. You're not selling, there's no money. So what is the point? So instead I wait, relax, and I give the rights to Puma or somebody else for limited edition release, which you will never see in Nigeria. But you'll be seeing in the video, you'll be seeing it somewhere else. But I've made my $1 million, I'm good. Okay? That's what's been happening. We need to domesticate it so our people can touch and own the product. When you touch and own the product, the artist gets bigger. And it's not just music artists, it's athletes, it's models, it's actors, it's actresses. And like I said, it's schools and alumni and associations and companies, right? Everybody needs product. And in Nigeria, if you walk into anywhere in the world, any museum, any club, a football stadium, a museum, a shop, the first thing you're going to see is the gift shop. At university, you're going to see the gift shop, right? Oxford graduate, Harvard athlete, Yale sports.
I will put them on here.
Yale athletic, of course.
You have people wearing them here.
Because they went to those schools. Even if they didn't go, they still want to associate. So where's UNN Zone? Where's Unilag? Do you understand? So it's right here. And sometimes I think it's almost like mineral resources. Because it's in your face, you're not looking at it. Then you say that, how'd you make the money? I said, are you kidding me?
You see, this thing you're talking about, the soft part of this whole business, and you referred just now to the fact that you see your merchandise or you see your rights everywhere, but you're not making anything out of it. They'll tell you, I no sell. It takes me back to the area of music where we started from. And you know that a lot of these people were mentioned earlier on from way back. At least I know some of them. their music was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But they made hardly any money from the labels and
But some of them made big money on.
Some
I
made.
did what like you, but I remember when he got paid a big check and I was looking at him like, bro, 94, man.
Yeah.
Sold 2 million records.
Some didn't.
Sony dropped the money.
Yeah, some Sony. I'm talking about some of those ones here. Unfortunately,
of course.
So I want to find out from the council. Is there a way they're able to work with the artists themselves too, for them to at least get? I know the Copyright Commission is there, right? They have their work too, but you have this office.
Yeah, no, let me tell you.
Yes.
I mean, which I haven't even said publicly. But the National Council of Arts, the music industry is home here.
Yeah.
And we're taking responsibility.
Okay.
We've already created a roadmap for the music industry. We've shared it with over 30 leaders in the music industry, between labels, publishers, platforms, broadcasters. They've had it since June, right? And the only reason we haven't progressed further is because in July, August, September, they're touring. So the biggest guys are touring, and we'll have a co-creation event in October with all the parties, right? And when we do that, we're going to pretend we didn't give them that roadmap and have a blank piece of paper. Okay, guys, let's see what we come up with together. Then let's go back to the original document. Then we merge everything. We're also working with Bank of Industry, who are going to bring some significant funding into the process. Because in essence, we need to build a music industry.
Yeah.
And to build a music industry, there are many different levels. There's discovery, there's talent, there's A&R.
Before you go straight into this part, we're going to look at it because I saw it there too when I was trying to look through the functions of the council. I saw music and other stuff.
Performing
there.
arts,
creatives and some of them.
Esports, gaming.
I want to see this bit of it that I was trying to talk about.
The elders.
Yeah.
I even had, listen, I mean, there's something called the Music Elders Forum. Ambassador Ozo Wobu came to see me. These are guys who are like in their 70s, 80s. And, it's the same thing about they didn't get the royalties they're supposed to get in their careers, or they didn't get the opportunities.
Look at Michael Jagger's own sample, for instance.
But he's lucky. He's blessed. Let me tell you. Because Premier Records put that record online. If they didn't put it online, nothing would have happened ever. Okay? That's the first thing. If you're not uploaded, you cannot be even touched. Do you understand? So they were uploaded and cleared, which is why Brainjot was able to attach it to his sketch. Now, the second part of that, which is why Brainjot just has to be saluted as a genius, that Brainjot took it upon himself to go and look for the man. I looked for the man as well. I spoke to his daughter the day before Brainjot got to him, right? Because we're like, we need to make this man an ambassador. We need to find a way to do something. We don't have the funds like that, right? Unfortunately, the sector has been defunded. So we're not, sitting there with some funds to throw around. But, we're the storytellers. We can frame a narrative. But the beautiful thing that has happened is I've seen what has happened. Yeah. And Brainjota has been incredible. And I would give him an award just for what he's done. Yeah. Because he's made sure the man had some money in his pocket. He didn't have to do that because the man will get some money from the record itself, because now this on the platforms, all the radio stations are playing it, the royalties are going to increase. And he's blessed because Premier is probably one of the most organized labels in terms of taking care of their residuals. I mean, you can argue about it, but it's the truth. Because, I'm in this business. And you look at the people who are real and what they do, and they're real and they do it properly. It does. A lot of times we don't understand that if the guy's not generating money, the music's not being played. The music is not in circulation. Nobody's playing it. There are 90 million tracks on Spotify. To be seen is very, very hard, right? So unless somebody picks up on a particular track and makes it relevant, 50 years later, it's not really likely to be doing anything. Do you understand? And of course, there's always resentment. That in my time, I didn't get what I thought I should get. And now I'm looking at this guy's getting this. And technology affects these things. I've seen it through the generations. There are guys from the 80s and 90s who feel upset. There are guys from the 60s and 70s who feel upset. There are guys from today. There are also guys from today who feel upset, right? And what we can do and try to do is make things more transparent and educate artists better about their rights. What we always used to do is, listen, these are all the options. There's a website called taxi.com. For anybody listening who's into the music industry, that's a free website. Free knowledge, free services, everything from contracts to publishing to rights. But people wake up and they say they want to announce they have a label.
Is it like Taxi? Like
Taxi? Yeah, taxi.com. So there's a lot of free resources in this day and age. Back in the day when we started, when you and I started, there was no Google. There was no online resource. There was nowhere to go. You had to either make it up as you're going along or you just do what you can do.
All right, this person sent a message. I was saying, let me just read it out so he will understand better. He said, your guest is versatile in business ideas, history of Nigeria, and beyond. Is it possible to sell these ideas to our government, ministry, etc., for the betterment of Nigeria? By Odaba. Odaba, he is the government, he is the ministry, he's your guy in charge of that. So he's sharing with us too some of the things he wants to be doing. And just keep listening.
Just tell them to give us money.
Give me.
We're looking for the money.
Show me them. Is it give me the money or what's that thing?
Whatever you want, ego. Just kudi, let it arrive. See, the key thing is, I think this one of my mandates is to promote and protect and preserve and inject the living culture of Nigeria into the days, everything that government does and everything that everybody does. Now, we're lucky in this country. We still live our culture. Not many countries are still living their original culture. We still live it. We still do the orikis and the ogene. We still have our clothes and our fashion and our food. And our food, for me, is going to be one of the biggest things in the world. Indian food is a model to follow, right? The Chinese and the Indians have globalized their cuisine to a level where, there's a TEDx speech called Indian Soft Power, the Soft Power of India, which I watched for the first time in 2009. And that's one of the things that really made me understand that what I was doing was the soft power of Nigeria. But let me tell you something really weird. It's the same thing my father was doing when he was enabling Enugu Rangers in 1970 and unlocking the music from the East and making Enugu the cultural capital of Black Africa.
So you just took after him?
Yeah, I guess so, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. I didn't know. It wasn't like a plan. It's just how I was raised and how I understand and what I connect to. And for me, what I connect to is what is authentic, right? Whether it's Oriental Brothers or Peacock International, it's authentic. Do you understand? That's my mother's side. That stuff is in my family. It's in my bloodline. I can't move away from it. But at the same time, I am hip hop. Period. Don't ever argue about that. But we are also Afrobeats because we gave birth to it. Do you understand? And now what we always did is what I've always been about is we move together. We don't leave anybody behind. So when we were doing the music heavy, we carried everybody. Whether it's P Squared, the band, Two Face, ask them. We pushed them. We pushed them. We gave them platforms. We worked for that. I could just have said, let me just sit with my small label and manage my people. But I put 200 artists on Channel O in 2005. We didn't charge them a kobo. I could have been charging them. I could say, okay, sign a contract just to go on the thing. Sign me a contract with me. No. We enabled them. I'm not trying to hold anybody back. I'm trying to open all the space for everybody, from visual artists to theater to literature to arts and crafts to performing arts to gaming, esports. Obviously music, everything. Because to me, this is our real power. This is something that is borderless. They can't stop you. They can't. The music doesn't need a visa to travel. The film doesn't need a visa to travel. They can't stop us. That's what the world is finding out every day. And the minute that we Nigerians understand that collectively, 60% of the global diaspora that left this continent in the last 500 years is Nigerian descent. 60%, not 5%, not 10%. Barbados, Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The Caribbean, Brazil, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, right? The Arabia, the Middle East, and then in Africa, here, Niger, Chad, Sudan. When they first came to meet the Sultan of Sokoto in 1824, they wrote there that he was in the Sudan. That's north of Nigeria. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where the people in Kemet, the people in Kush, who invaded Kemet and became pharaohs of Egypt for 800 years, where are they from? The people in Kush. Kush is next door to Sokoto. Do you understand? Do you know that right here, Eredo? If you're, you know where Eredo is?
I know Eredo.
Do you know about Bilkisu Sumbo?
The one that has in Eredo.
The queen that
is
trying to
that has
there.
The story building and everything.
No,
inside
that's
there.
A walled city of 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
100 kilometers square.
Around Ekpe, the region.
Between Ekpe and Ijebu.
Yeah.
That site has more land
Kingdom.
shifted there than the pyramids at Giza. And
but it's so quiet.
When I first
knows.
because we don't talk about it. That woman, how did I first read about it? The Times of London, 1997. My mother, who used to document everything, says, look at this thing. Do you know what they call her? The University of Bournemouth? Is it the final resting place of the Queen of Sheba?
They are. And you know, people keep talking about...
is that not enough to be a film?
People keep talking
the Queen
about...
of Sheba is buried in Ijebu?
Badagry, what do you call it? The first story building in Badagry.
Yes,
and I'm
course.
like, no. But they said in Eredu there...
No. The rampart walls... The rampart walls are 70 meters high. Based on the available technology in the 11th century when it was built, it should have taken 90 years to build.
And her courtyard, everything.
Listen, it's 100 kilometers squared, visible from space. There are only two things in Nigeria visible from space at that time. That place and the Benin Wall, which is 16,000 kilometers, concurrent.
Wow.
And which is basically a moat. It's a defensive moat.
Yes, it
so
is.
Nobody could invade Benin. I mean, let's think about it. Benin used fractal equations to do the town planning. I'm not sure that Europe had understood what fractal equations were in the 14th century.
It was described that the town was so tidy, the mapping was so good. That was what the Portuguese were writing. That is Benin.
Wider than the streets. The streets of Benin were wider than the streets of London. That's the exact Portuguese description. And but see, the point is this: it's like there's a book called "They Came Before Columbus," okay, which talks about how the Africans got to America before Columbus. Which, of course, should be obvious to Africans because Native Americans, what are they? They're black.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But, you know, a lot of times we don't see ourselves. So I tell people, I say, when Usain Bolt is winning everything, I just look at him as an Igbo man. He's from Jamaica. Where else do you think he could be from? 60% of the blacks in Jamaica are Nigerian, and a lot of the Jamaicans are Igbo specifically.
When they do the DNA thing, they're like, I'm Igbo.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm looking for them. I have a project called Origins. I'm looking for the entire black world, right? Because it is time for us to step to them. We can't be doing like, oh, we're not sure, we don't know. At the end of the day, the black world, the African Americans are only 45 million, okay? But as an economic force, they're the 8th biggest economy in the world. We need to link, we need to build, we need to do business, and we need to grow. When you're looking for investment, I go black first. No apologies.
You know, you've been talking a lot about soft resource, soft power. And you know, you've come into a place where before now, when you guys were put in office, when you came into office, was it in January or so, you had this group of 4 young people coming into that sector, and we're like, woohoo, this is nice. And you came into a point where a civil service, you have a lot of people who are just stuck in the past, people who, if left to themselves, will still be using the typewriter, still be hiding files and all that. Have you met any form of resistance with all these things, all these collaborations you're talking about? Is it sounding high and too much to the people you met, or are they flowing with you?
I will tell you the truth that my council, when we first came in, I mean, it's difficult. It's a change of culture. It's a change of style. But, you know, I've been blessed, right? I have a great team. And it's just one of these things. I have 1,000 people in my council. And shout out to all of them. Then 20 offices around the country. And, you know, they do a lot in a very difficult environment because it is not easy to be a civil servant. I think a lot of times we who have been outside the public service don't understand this, and all we see are the difficulties, or that, oh, they're not responding, they're not doing this. But you haven't asked yourself, why is that the case? What is the procedure? What are the rules? What are the things holding them back? In fact, what's the leadership they've been given? So at this point in time, coming from where I came into where we are now, all I can really say is thank you, because they've been giving me a lot of support. Even sometimes you can tell me how I am. I'm passionate. So I start going off. I want to do this, and then somebody hold me back.
I got suffering, not be so.
Slow down. You know what I'm saying? We were just, let me just advise you, after my 28 years, and I'd be like, listen, 28 years in here, I got to listen, right? Yeah. Because it'd be stupid not to. Because that knowledge that they have, I have to lean on that knowledge to move forward. And it's something that is a learning experience for all of us, both for me and the people I came in with, and for them as well. But I'm really proud of them. Let me just tell you that. I'm proud of my team because they've stepped up. And they're stepping up, and they're learning how to engage and learning how to do the storytelling. Because I told them, I said, listen, I was told when I was coming here, I should just fire everybody, get rid of the management, change everybody. They don't know anything. I said, I'm not too sure about that. I feel like everybody should be given an opportunity. And you know the crazy thing, my management team, there's 11 of them, right? There's 15 in total, but 7 department heads and 4 unit heads. Another 11, 7 are female. And I think that's quite a powerful thing. That I met, not something that I created myself. I inherited that, and I have to be thankful for that.
Of course.
NCAC, the first thing I said was that NCAC, at least by the time I leave here, everybody will know we exist. everybody will know what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. And our principal thing is to enable stakeholders who are playing in the sector to get more opportunities, get access to markets, get access to capital. So today, let me just say something real quick. Okay. There's a platform that has been launched by the minister. We are implementing the program called CLAP. Okay, the Creative Leap AP, the Creative Leap Accelerator Program. It's an accelerator platform. It's already up, it's live. You can go to that platform, clapnigeria.ng. You can go to that platform and you can register. You can get some of the free resources on that platform. And then we have ICE, Innovation, Creativity, Entrepreneurship, which is something that I created from the council. And that one we're creating a network of hubs. So working with the private sector and the public sector. We're partnering with NITDA. The American Embassy has given us 25 locations in the country, Windows to the World, which are 25 locations that are internet-enabled workstations and everything. We have the Innovation Support Network, ISN Hubs, which is the private sector-driven for the technology innovation ecosystem. They have about 200 hubs in 32 states. So basically, what are we trying to do? Have physical locations that people can walk into, use, get training, get skills, and use them also to work for production. So suddenly, we may have a network that will be able to say is live by end of October, November, with 600 locations, right? With multiple learning providers fed into it. Because, yes, you will go in the creative industries. I'm accelerating the creative economy. But guess what? If you don't have digital skills, you can't play. You don't understand digital presence, you can't play. You understand digital marketing, you can't play. So people need to learn these other things as well. Okay, if you want to be a photographer, you need to understand post-production. It's not just about taking the pictures, right? There's a very interesting guy, Bayo Boborewo, who was photographer to the president, Buhari. I never met him until last year sometime. But this kid, he's 30 or something. The kid is incredible. Even how he got the job in the first place is incredible. I said to him, you got to go tell your story more often. Because people just assume somebody gave you the job, you knew somebody. He didn't know anybody, had no money. He just took incredible shots. And everybody noticed him and said, who the hell's taking these pictures? And brought him in. Do you understand? And now, he said he used to be a portrait photographer doing weddings like everybody else. But he said, after a while, he thought, let me change lane. And he started doing a totally different type of photography, and that's what got the attention. And now he's built this incredible facility called Madhouse at Unilag. If you have a chance to go see it, go and see that thing. We're even trying to take the model into every state of the country, because if you want to walk into a hub, if you're a creative, you want to walk into a space where you're going to be like, oh man, I could live here. You don't even want to leave the space, because you can create, you can make your stuff, you can do what you need to do. And so there are so many people like that in Nigeria, and I keep meeting them. And they're not just sitting in Lagos, Abuja. They're all over the country. And that's what we want to pull out. And with Nigeria's Got Talent next year, we're going to 15 states. And I think we're going to pull out a lot of new stuff that none of us have seen. Because, the truth of the matter is, we don't know Nigeria as well as we think we do.
No, hold on. Break down, as they will say to the DJ. Nigeria's Got Talent.
Yes, it's coming back.
It's a franchise, right?
Of course it's the franchise.
Yes.
The same people that brought it 10 years ago are bringing it back.
The American Got Talent.
Same thing. It's the biggest show in the world. It's the biggest television show in the world in 35 countries and 87 franchises. It's the biggest in the world. It's the biggest show on social media. And when it came here before, it didn't have social media. Social media hadn't happened. It was 2013, 2014. Social media here was still very light. We expect 2025 that show to be the biggest show in Africa.
Was it not possible to create another our own version?
No, not at all. There's no point. There's no point. The reason why you take global franchises is because they're proven. So you don't have to spend half your life begging sponsors. Okay? You create your own brand. My sister, I've created many brands that are my own. It's a nightmare, right? It's a nightmare. So yes, there's some things I understand, but what we're doing is we're embedding CLAP into Nigeria's Got Talent. So every state we go to, we're going to train at least 1,000 people. Go to 15 states, we train 1,000. We have something called Discover Nigeria, which is talent management. So we're going to bring all the agencies. When I say agencies, I don't mean agencies of government. I mean agencies in the entertainment industry, and put a pipeline for Nigerian talent. There's no pipeline for Nigerian sports or football or anything. There's no pipeline for talent. And so I'm looking at that, because in other countries, sports is treated as culture. Okay? Yeah. The department is media, culture, and sports. Do you understand? So me cross-cutting, talk to the sports minister, say, boss, we have this pipeline already. We're pushing talent through the pipeline. If you give us a little bit of support, we add sports to the content. Then you will not show up in the Olympics and not know who your athletes are. You should know your elite athletes from the age of 12. From the age of 12, they're already in a program. By the time they get to 20, they're world beaters. Nigerians dominate. There are 100 Africans in the NFL, 80 are Nigerian. But Nigeria didn't do anything to make them be there. And that's the problem that has been the case. Our people have excelled and have come out in spite of being Nigerian, right? Let it be said that they came out because of being Nigerian, because the Nigerian government was involved in providing the platform for them to excel. That is the kind of change we want to be able to bring to these sectors, because then you will understand that the biggest asset we have as a people are the people.
The people themselves.
It's not the mineral resources, it's the people. And if you invest in the people, which is what we're actually advocating for, invest in the people, you solve all the problems. You have to unlock the people. How many places have you been to where they don't invest in the people and they expect results? So you must invest in the people.
Yeah. And let's look at NAFES now.
Yes,
yeah,
please,
you're supposed to have...
Please.
When we say FESTAC, we would all remember, but meanwhile, let me read this. This person says, Onyabo Vivian, NCAC, the enabler of the creative economy. Giving you a clap there. I see a bright future for arts and culture in Nigeria. God bless and protect Mr. Obi Asika, Moonlight Africa. That was from you. Thanks, guys, for watching. Share. Let other people come on board. If na lemon share for in our office, not concern me, I was looking at FESTAC.
Yes.
We were quite young, or I was quite young when they did FESTAC, and it was beautiful. The memory stayed still today. That was how I got to fall in love with South African music, with Miriam. For crying out loud, it be like there's a piton swear for me. So when South Africans stopped, let me not say so they will fight me, misbehaving. Sometimes on social media, I'll be like, look at these people. What's wrong with you?
But that misbehavior is because we never told the story. They don't know what we did. Yeah, they don't know anything about what we did. They don't know.
In fact, let's leave them. Let's leave them.
Tell your story.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of people, Congo music, everything. FESTAC was like
unbelievable.
Until today, we still have the FESTAC. What do you call it? FESTAC. FESTAC is a fallout of that, because I think that was meant to be like the hostel for everybody.
I think the 50th anniversary is coming. We're planning one. My sister and Aisha Ogi. CBAC, the agency there's an agency that holds the entire FESTAC archive.
Center for Africa and
Black African Arts and Civilization. I love that name, by the way.
Yeah, CBAC, right? CBAC, I think that's what they call. Then there is a NAFES.
Yes.
NAFES is supposed to be
like a domestic festival.
Domestic
competition, friendly competition between the states. But I think part of it, NAFES, to me anyway, NAFES has been happening since 1970 as a tool for national healing and for national collaboration. But I think that sometimes in the way of governments, some things get lost in governments. It's a bit like the National Sports Festival. It will be happening, but you don't even know what's going on. It's happening in your states, you don't know what's going on. There's no communication on the events, the agenda, where the thing is, and it becomes like a government-to-government thing. So what we're trying to do with NAFES is bring it to the people. NAFES be for the people. The states will come, yes. The states will do their thing, yes. But really, if the people are not talking about it, if the young people are not excited by it, we're not doing the right things. And I told my people before, I said, listen, if your kids at home are not asking you, Dad, Mom, how can I get tickets to NAFES? Then we're not doing anything, right? So I've already tried to get some of the big names in terms of, because I want to open at the National Stadium and I want to close at the National Stadium. But 80% of the programming will be at the Arts Village, which belongs to the National Council, next to the Abuja Continental and the Yar'Adua Center and Silverbird, who, by the way, are all on National Council land. And that's an indication of what has happened. Our land, we never had the budget to develop it, but everybody else was parcellated out to them, right? I mean, they didn't help us.
No, help in air quotes.
Well, we're praying that we can recover some of the land, to make it bigger. We're about 3 hectares, and we're building a venue there with a partner called MEFA, a 3,500 capacity venue. That's the first one we'll do. We're going to do the second one in Lagos. And we have 4 others in phase 1, which will be Enugu, I think, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and maybe Jos. Something like that.
You should do one in Delta.
Oh, for sure. Listen, let me tell you something. We presented this to all the commissions of culture of Nigeria. And we said to them, please, this thing is about funding. These guys have the funding ready to go, but states have funding too. Yeah. So Asaba should definitely have one.
Not Asaba, it should be Warri.
Oh, Warri? Wafi. Yeah, Warri is the entertainment center of Delta. Yes, definitely.
Of the world of Nigeria. Where you are going on here, Warri.
But my people go vex. So.
Make them vex.
Wafi, no, they carry last.
Never.
My brother Ali Baba will be saying this thing for all his life. Shout out to the Warri massive, man. It's big. It's big. But I think some other places also have things.
No, don't look for my trouble.
Jos is hot. Jos is one of the places you got to look at.
Yeah.
Kaduna is one of the places you got to look at. You got to look at Owerri, my goodness, my mother's side, that's pure party central. That's the culture there. Owerri has almost more hotels than anywhere else. That's like 350
Let me tell
hotels.
you something. I was speaking with a friend of ours in Owerri, and I asked him, why is nightlife, all these things going on in that state? He said, nightlife, what things going on? That as I'm speaking to you now, everywhere is full. I was like, what the? Hotels, I'm like, where are these people coming from?
No, let me tell you something. You couldn't get a flight into Owerri for like 3 years because every weekend the flights are full. If you've never been to Owerri, I'm not going to say nothing. You just have to go. And if you don't know what Owerri is,
why they didn't give me nice one? Don't mind.
No, Owerri is the best soup that Nigeria has first.
Have you eaten banga and starch?
Everything. We have eaten everything. There's nothing we never chop.
Going to Owerri, we had to stop in Port Harcourt. Now went by road because no flights.
The flight was full.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a flight.
I agree with you that it shouldn't be about the name, whether being federal character correct kind of thing. Anywhere in the country where that life and art is popping. Alive.
Calabar.
That should be it.
Calabar popping.
That should be
Calabar is one of those places, man. I was privileged to produce the Calabar Festival twice. 2008. We know what we did. We put it on television in the UK. We put it on national television. So we expanded the brand massively. We were given the opportunity to do that. I mean, I remember bringing Wycliffe. And Wycliffe almost destroyed the whole state. Akon literally jumped on a tower, right? This is so funny. Akon jumped on the tower in the stadium.
So it's a portable the second.
Listen, like 30,000 people in the stadium, and Akon jumped on this tower. The tower collapsed, but I mean, he was safe, thank God. But Akon is crazy. Akon be jumping into the crowd. I'm looking at the guy. I said, "Bro, this is Nigeria. They may not catch you." the guy jumped into the crowd. They're catching the guy. And Akon be looking. I said, "Akon, man." After the show, the governor said to me, "Man, that was unbelievable, incredible. I'm sure the guy cost us like $500,000 with that tower, but the sensation he just caused here, I understand." I said, "Excellency, thank you very much."
But we have
don't bill us.
We have his format here. Now Portable jumped on it.
But Portable doesn't have the talent of Akon. I mean, Akon gave a 35-song set of hits.
Yeah.
Portable, I don't know. I think Portable is an interesting phenomenon. I'll leave it there.
We'll leave it at that. So what are some of the things to look forward to during NAFest?
During NAFest, we flipped NAFest around. I mean, the swag show, that'd be very interesting. Which state has the most swag? Let's find out.
It's Delta now.
See, everybody they claim I'm like that now. But when they come, we'll find out.
No, they talk. It's Delta.
Some Kano boys tell me say nobody they pass them.
You say yellow and what? With the rest.
So the swag show is there. We have the dance off, which is going to be really interesting because Nigerians can dance.
Yes.
But we're going to have some interesting people judging it as well. I'm trying to get Kafi on as a judge. There's a lady called Chika who's with Al Jazeera, but she's a brilliant dancer and a real interesting. And then Professor Razaki, the commissioner, Dance Razaki as he calls himself, will be the judges for the dance off. Then
you should get the governor too now.
Which governor?
The
dancing governor. We'll ask him. That'll be genius. Maybe he'll lead his state delegation.
Yeah, maybe.
His nickname is Jackson, right?
Oh yeah.
For a reason. And Davido is his nephew, so you understand. It's in the blood somewhere. You got the sing off. So, find out which state has got the best voice or the voices, because you can't come as a solo artist.
You already know.
You're saying Delta, man.
You know now.
You're Robo-Massive now, Rex Lawson. Yeah, we know. I mean, yeah, I can actually kind of give that one because, yes, but let's see how they come. The Jollof Wars. Let's see what's
Please invite Ghana, I beg you.
No, it's an internal thing now.
Oh.
The Ghanaians can come and observe. So maybe they'll learn how to. I beg, so my Ghana people, no vex.
No vex.
But I mean, they're invited, man. We have international people that want to come. I know the Botswana wants to come. South Africa wants to come. The Americans are thinking about it. And my thing, the Indians definitely. I think the thing about it is it's a celebration of culture. The theme for NAFES is connected culture. Roving Heights, the book publishers, are going to do a book fair. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. The Dambe wrestling, which I'm really excited about. Unfortunately, I can't even go. I was supposed to be in Abuja on Sunday. Dambe Warriors Season 3. I mean, the guys are doing stuff, right? That Dambe, I think, is going to be massive eventually. And it's coming. And it's like, I just thank God I'm not going to be fighting in it. But the Dambe is there. We have a colloquium. We're doing some podcasts. We have music every night. We have artists performing every night at the Arts Village, but the big shows are the opening show and the closing show. And other things are happening. We have INAC, which is International Arts and Craft Expo, that will start 3-4 days before what's it called, NAFest, and run concurrently. And the Abuja Carnival is also going to be in that same period.
Nice.
So Abuja is going to come fully alive. And let people understand that Abuja is not just some capital city. Abuja has incredible nightlife, incredible locations, has great, great people, and a very young demographic. So we want to bring them out and let them celebrate and come together.
You know what? If you're listening now and where you come from, you think you have this culture,
you got the swag or something.
Yeah. And you have this culture that you like Nigeria to know, you like the world to know about. Call me. Tell me about what is unique. Call.
Because all the commissions of culture, but when we ask them, guys are like, Nigerians are something else. So we have a great theme song which we're going to release in about 2 weeks. It's in the videos at the moment, and it's and the artist is my staff, right? The song is called "I Believe." It's beautiful. I just heard it one time like this in April. I said to him, "Bro, that's a NAFest theme song." He didn't believe me. His name is Jared Daniels, but I just wanted to say his name and tell you about him because we're going to push him hard. I mean, I think it's a song that I think every Nigerian will be singing by the time we get to NAFest. It's called "I Believe," and we'll get you a copy.
Oh, that'd be
look
nice.
for your support. And it's a beautiful record. It's one of those records where, I mean, Timmy Dakolo could have done it, but it's a bit more up-tempo than what Timmy does, but it's special. It's a special record.
Okay, you know the number 0700-903-903-903. WhatsApp is 0817-175-6338. Call, share with us what is so special, what is unique about your culture that you would want to share with us. That you would
share with Nigerians.
Yes, share with Nigerians, and also what you think that the NCAC should also pay attention to in your location, in your village, in your town. And when we say NCAC, we're talking about the National Council for Arts and Culture. The DG is here with us. We're talking about Obi Asika, and we've been going through a lot of things. I dragged him into this, I dragged him into that, even the things I didn't even plan. No vex. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
It's funny. I was going to say that, one of the first things we did is we asked all the commissioners of Nigeria of culture to submit the cultural expressions in their states. And we gave them a list of about 27. So, for example, incredible information starts coming in. Taraba State has 287 languages. Plateau State's 200 languages. Kano State has 53 musical genres. 53.
But how come we keep hearing like
because it's about the one that is being exposed.
Oh, wow.
But this country is just deep. It's deep. The drums alone, in some places, there'll be 100 different types of drum.
We are the clappers.
Me, I'm Organena, Egwata.
Hello, how are you? I don't know. Somehow it's not coming out. I don't know. Can we devise another means? All right, maybe we can just put the mic directly. I don't know, something is off with that. Please, my sister, you say, is this how you hate Asaba? Please, we have special Iwu or Lobo and in a festival in Ogwashuku, Delta State. George from AJ City. George, what concern me and you? Asaba. Well, not show me the show one that they do for Asaba. Have you ever heard anybody?
Twin City.
Have you ever heard any time they say Asaba? No, they carry last. You don't hear them before. You don't hear them, George. Tell me. Hello.
Ahava.
Hello, how are you? Okay, sorry, we have to take it this format. Your name, please. Marshall Obama.
Obama.
Yes, so could you turn off your radio? I know the rule now. I go offer more. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Marshall Obama from Calabari Kingdom of Rivers State.
From Calabari Kingdom, okay.
Yes. Calabari, you've heard it before. Where Rex Lawson hailed from.
Yes, Rex.
Rex Lawson, of course, legend.
In fact, the guy knows history of the world.
Okay,
I like historians like that because what we lack in this country, history is gone. People don't even know where their great-great-grandfather hailed from. Several centuries. That is what is really disturbing us that today we don't want to come together. We brought these ethnic spirits. You are not from here, I'm from here, you are not from there. We won.
Okay. All right, Marshall.
In my own area, more especially, the masquerades.
Okay, you have masquerades.
Seasonal, fish season, hippopotamus season, crocodile season. In fact, we have them in Rivers State. If you go to Rivers State Arts and Culture, they can expose stuff for you.
Okay.
That's the reason I can tell my brother. I'm proud to hear from you.
Thank you.
I know you.
Well, they know they take class. Forget. Not till na fit talk. Thank you very much. Did he just say hippopotamus season? Thank you. Oh wow. He had a list there. 1,000 apologies. I don't
about
know
the types of masquerade, right? I couldn't hear all the things you were saying.
Neither could I, but I'm sure people at home could hear virtually everything. This thing just decided to go.
I mean, first of all, just Calabar. I mean, I've been out there. You know, I remember. You know, yes, I'm blessed, man. I've been to at least 20 states, 25 states of Nigeria. I thought I'd been to all of them, but they kept adding more. So they got to a stage. I was like, okay, I've been to Kebbi and Sokoto, you know, but it was one state before.
Oh, sorry. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Lady C.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm making what they call it for the Taja.
All right, go ahead.
I'm so proud of my brother. In fact, I enjoy most of the things it's really educating us here. And like what you said, Cordelia, I was listening to a program. A lady was talking about the people who fought for independence in Nigeria. She did not mention Zeke. She did not mention Abba Makole. I was so surprised. So and then coming to Barbara, I think I'm from Oka. We have technology, the other thing there.
Yes.
So how much of a help will your this thing is the other thing?
All right, thank you.
Nice one. Can I answer now?
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. First of all, thank you, man. I would say this, right? I mean, like I said, I'm meeting with Nit. They were talking, and they have this thing called technology development zones, and I'm very keen to see how I can bring that to Oka, Newi, Onitsha, and our area, because I think these are the real technology development zones and have been for many, many years, but have been sort of operating almost unseen, and that's why you hear the calls of marginalization, because people feel they've been working, but nobody's been recognizing the work and been investing in what they're doing. And I think the federal government has a lot of potential, a lot of capacity to uplift what they're doing. But also in the East, we need to learn to engage, right? Because people have become so sort of dismissive of what the federal government can do, they don't engage a lot of the federal government programs. You've seen it with the NEL Fund situation. So that is something that needs to be, but I think what you're seeing is civil society, and civil society, these are all making strong efforts to get all those institutions to register. So that students can benefit. And for me, definitely, Oka is the beginning of iron smelting. Legia and Nsukka is the first place where iron ore is controlled by man, I believe, on planet Earth.
Wow.
And yes, and you know, so you need to understand that the technology in control of materials has always been something that has been historically coming out of the East, like 7,000 years.
Okay, sorry, let's take this one. Hello, how are you? Hello? Did he drop? Oh, okay, carry on, please.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just saying that in terms of, you know, there are different ways to look at history. So sometimes people talk about history of innovation and technology, and I'll be like, you know, NOC is innovation. You know, Ife bronzes, Benin bronzes are innovation. They're technology. You know that Ifa is binary code. Afa, numerology from the East, is also about numerology, and it's about science, and it's about mathematics, right? And this is indigenous. It's indigenous knowledge. If you ever lose your indigenous knowledge, you're in deep danger. Somebody came to see me literally 2 weeks ago in my office. And the man, I just sat down and I was just looking at him like a child. I said, so what do you do? And he goes, that he researches and documents the history and code of the courts of the palaces of the North. So when he said it, I said, please say that again. He said, I research and I document the code. And what he was telling me was that the communication of the emir in the palace is coded.
It's coded.
Diplomatic, military, civic. It is coded, right? And they have it recorded for 600 years. The libraries are 600 years old. None of these things are digitized. Do you understand? We have to digitize. We have to bring it up. We have to use AI to train those language models so that our knowledge comes into AI. At this point in time, African languages and African knowledge is really not in AI. I was at the AI conference on Tuesday. It's one of the key things I was telling the Americans. I said, I really don't care. Until we are in it, it's not relevant to me. I'll use it as a tool, but it has to be relevant. Sorry.
All right, hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
I greet your guest.
Oh, put off your radio. If not, that is how we keep echoing in your ear. All right, go ahead. Abiodun has no patience for that. Okay, good morning, sister, and the guest in the studio. Is that the son of Chief Upabi Asika? Greetings. You answer all that. So my question is this: throughout Igbo land, masquerades and iriji, that is New Yam festivals, dominate culture and tradition. How can the NCAC help to refine these festivals so that we can expunge the negative sides of the celebrations, retain what is good in them, and export the refined festival to the world? Pascal Chimeze from Ikeja, that was your question. And we also have interest in listening to Mr. Obiasika speak. Very interesting, insightful, educative, and the words coming out of his mouth show he has good, clear understanding about the past, present, and the day-to-day life. I enjoyed listening to him speak. I'm someone who also likes to travel, and I've been to more than 18 states in Nigeria right before there was no phone to travel to Zaria and Funtua, using my BlackBerry Pearl to take pictures of different things I see, like painted campaign posters on rocks in remote areas in the north. Photography, fashion, music is my thing, and I think the world will be naked, blind, and deaf without these three.
Champion, man. He needs to come to the council, please. Let him send his details so we can bring him into what we're doing. Yes, Dr. Ajio Babi Asika is my father, and I'm his only son. That's number one. The other thing I would say is this, in terms of, what was the rest of the question? Because I heard what you were saying.
I was talking about how do we...
the masquerades and...
how do we refine those things?
I think it's not just in the East. I think all our festivals need a level of production to step up, right? It's a bit like, you've been in production for years. You understand the difference between coverage and production.
Yes.
That's what we need to do. Okay, the Shango Festival in Oyo, I was there 2 weeks ago, and the production level is just not there. But it's a resource issue as well. Because, they're begging the state government to support them. Some of the brands are giving them money, almost like, handouts. But it's a product. You have to create a product and an experience, right? When you create those two things, then it moves. I don't think it's about me coming in to determine what is good or bad, right? In terms of, the negative aspects. I think a lot of that stuff is hangovers from colonialism and the reasons why Shango remains where he is and Thor is where he is, and Amadio has not even in the conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we need to, it's about us unlocking ourselves and understanding, first of all, that by promoting this, you're not fighting your religion or whatever it is some people think. You have to, first of all, understand that this is part of your essence as an African. Please go ahead. I'm blocking somebody trying to get a call.
Okay. Ben, hi. That sounds like you. Hello?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, yes, good morning. It's still morning, yeah.
Good morning. Good morning to my brother there.
Morning, sir.
So intelligent. You're so intelligent.
You say you're so intelligent. You not hear who your papa be? He's so intelligent.
So thank you very much, sir.
I'm from
it's my brother. Yes, man. Yes, we share that.
One day I called on Mr. People, and Mr. People used to call out when you. If you call them Igbo people, they don't say we attack you.
In the honest, sir.
I don't know. You're the only one someone I hear that say that.
Okay, now don't start on now. Igbo talk. Oh yeah, what is the culture thing you want to talk, Mr. Ben? Ungwanu. Let me speak this way, Guano.
That's the culture we are talking about now.
Politician.
Mr. People, they are cultural people. You don't know anything. Talk about Mr. People.
Okay, Mr. Ben, thank you.
Ndo. That's the part I was saying. No, it's true. Onicha energy does upset some people, but we are who we are. In the Onicha, I'm Ambalanze. I took my title 30 years ago.
No, be today.
There's not a today matter.
So, NAFES is going to be from when to when?
November 22nd to November 30th in Abuja. INAC November 18th to November 30th in Abuja. Come through, man. Come through.
All right, let's take you. Hello, how are you? Good morning. Hello. I think it's okay now. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name, please?
Thank you so much for this call. This is Akon calling you from Muncie at the moment.
Welcome, Akon. Go ahead.
That's true.
That
is one of the culture. One of the things that always make me speak this parable whenever I'm calling in the morning is to identify with my people and my culture.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this program.
Yeah, well,
I have one place in my club. They call it Ifrangi. It's one of the beautiful and colorful cultures. They have 25 by this side, 25 by this side. And when they start playing this, they will display what they call the talent. They will display the culture of the people. So I don't know how I can be able to communicate and maybe put this to this festival that is coming up.
What's the name of your festival again? What's the name of the festival again?
Ifrangi, but that's what they call it.
Ikmaribe.
Yes. You are not getting the correct spelling or the correct pronunciation. What will happen is that maybe I will find a time to send it to you.
Okay,
so that
please
you can
do.
Be able to see.
Please do. So I will forward.
Yeah, forward it, and then we can ask the commissioner from your state.
Thank you so much.
What is your state again? Your state? Your state?
I'm from Akwa Ibom.
Abasimbok, Bagade, for Ichoro, Sonsogo. Bye-bye.
Cordelia, just pulling it out. I was about to say, I could have told you it was Akwa Ibom from his accent. Man.
Yeah.
You know?
But sometimes you have to...
it could also be Cross River, kind of. Yes.
That is it.
But the truth is, but I think, all these things are great. And anything that anybody feels should be part of it, bring it to us. We'll push it back to the commissioner in your state.
Yeah.
And also, people can come independently. You
Okay.
can come to NAFES independently as exhibition and participate. And we're going to make all those things publicly available so people can see how to participate. Yeah.
This will be the last call. Please, 30 seconds because we have to go. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good morning, Madam Cordelia.
Good morning. It's
My name
Peter
is Peter
Sifu from Abaronje.
I'm
Welcome.
very proud of your guest this morning.
Thank
you. You keep it up. He's one of the Nigerians who said that is round peg and round hole. Please, you should keep it up. I'm very, very proud of him when I listened to him this morning.
Thank you.
My name is Peter Usifo.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Ikotu. My own town is Ubuluku in Delta State. The local government is Anyota South local government. So your guests must have been hearing about Ubuluku. We have a very known festival, which I also want him to put on the map of the world, if possible. The name of the festival is Iwu Festival. IWU. Iwu Festival. You must have heard about it.
Okay.
It comes during this period after the New Yam Festival.
Okay.
It is Iwu Festival. You should take note of this festival.
All right, Peter.
And make sure that it is well publicized.
Okay.
I'm proud of you once more.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Dalu. Thank you so much.
Dalu, man. We have to go now. We have to go. Thank you so much, DG, for being on the program today.
It's a pleasure.
And we've had the DG of the National Council for Arts and Culture, and he's shared some of their plans and things we should be looking forward to going forward from the council. Last line.
Yeah, just, believe in yourself. Remember, connected culture is the theme. That's the movement. Tell your story. And when we come to you, because we're coming to Nigerians, to ask everybody for their Nigerian story. When we come to you, please share your story. And look out for origins. Origins is for everybody. And no matter where you're from somewhere around us.
Okay.
Origins.
Wherever you're from somewhere. You're from somewhere for it. You didn't put your name. Anyway, you said, thank you, Mr. Sika. I'm down to come into the council and join what you're doing, and I can be reached on. He dropped his phone number. You help me copy, please, and send it to me, and I'll share
please
with
do.
you.
Please do.
Okay.
Open door policy.
Open door policy, he said. So, please, I'll share it with him. Thank you so much, Obi.
Thank you so much. Just want to shout out to all my people at the council who are listening, all my colleagues, the other DGs in the minister's office, the minister, because, one of the things is this, right? Coming into the public sector is not easy. I don't know if there's any way to really prepare yourself for it, but those that have worked with me are making it easier. So I want to thank them.
Thank you, guys. And one of these days, we should have the minister come.
Oh, definitely.
We'll
schedule it. Just let me know. Anytime she's in Lagos.
Okay, that would be
She'd
great.
love to come in.
That would be great. And I love her. Her poetry. She's cool. And I have an Italian in the house. It's not a bambino. Anyone be Alfie. Thank you very much. Abiodo Ojediji, thank you so much.
Thanks,
thank you. Shegun Bailey Adeniji. Small Shakes, thank you very much. I'm Cordelia. I'll be seeing you Thank God, not tomorrow, not next tomorrow. Praise God. I'll be seeing you on Monday. Till then, hasta la vista, baby.